Hello, my name is Levi Hilton, and today I'm going to go over PHP filter inputs and how to use them to be able to control the data that we're getting from our front end so that it's in a format that we can expect. So basically, it has four parameters: type, variable name, filter, and options. Filter and options are optional. If by chance you don't want to actually filter the data based on anything, you can go ahead and leave the defaults in there, and you'll grab that variable from our from whatever input. It just won't really go through any filter, so you can't really expect any certain type of data from it. We'll go ahead and jump right into it. Our type can be from get methods, post methods. It can be from cookies from the server, or cookies from the request, or server or environment variables. Today we're going to focus on post variables because that is what we'll probably end up using most with this filter input. Variable name is simply the name of the variable that you want to get based on what you call it in your form. Filters, there are a bunch of different types. There are validate filters, and then there are sanitize filters. Validate filters, they change the way, or basically they just make sure that the data that's passed in is correct. They won't ever change the actual values there, but it'll make sure that it all fits. Sanitize filters make sure that certain characters that shouldn't be in a certain type aren't there, and so it'll remove those from the string that's passed to it. Other filters, there's a callback filter in which you can pass in the options your own function that you want to be called on the value. So that way you can choose what you're returning. You can choose just kind of what data you want to hold on to, or how you want to manipulate it. And so that offers a lot more variety as well, without having to expand your functions that much. And then there are flags, which you can look into a little bit more on php.net. Each filter will have its own flags that it can use, and so those will actually be in this options parameter that you can pass in. And so each option, it'll basically be either an integer or an object, or an array. Sorry. So let's go ahead and take a look at an example. We're just going to use our sign-in page. We'll go ahead and get a test statement here. Now, for this, you'll most likely want to just change this to email. I had to change it from email to text to be able to put in these incorrect strings. So for the most part, your front end will be just fine, but we want to avoid people changing the front end to submit characters that we don't want. And so that's why we do these filters in the back end, because they have no control of the data after that point. So let's go ahead. This is our login function that is being called right here. That's our form action. And so basically all we're doing is we're getting our data, we're setting it equal to our filter input, and we're grabbing our email from this post, and we are putting it through the filter validate email. So that'll just make sure that it is in the correct format of an email. So if we go ahead and test this out, I'm going to put in this bacon is good test right there. And if we go ahead and click sign in, our data was empty. If we look right here, we're checking to make sure that the data isn't null, and it was. So it came down here and said that data was empty. So this will return either the value or null. So let's go ahead and put a good value in there. Sorry about that. Press back, and here we go. at test.com. So now it's returning a good value. Now it's returning the actual email, so that lets us know that it's correct. So we can use this just to make sure that it's correct, and if not, we can redirect and say, hey, there was a problem with your email, check the data again, and we'll try it out. Now, if you don't want that, you just kind of want to accept whatever they put in, you can sanitize it to remove any unwanted characters. And so right here is a string that is full of characters that are not valid. And so we'll go ahead and move over, and we will test our page with this string. And so we should get just test back. And so this one, rather than returning true or false whether it is a valid string or not, it'll just remove any characters that don't fit within that type. So let's see, we'll go back here. That pretty much covers it for it. Options you can put in there with these, they don't really have too many options you can put in. Here on php.net you can find all of the filter types, or the filter types, and it lists the options that it can take in as well as flags. And so if you're filtering for integers in a certain range, then you can use those options there just to make sure. And then there are all of these flags, which are documented a little bit better on the flags page. Same thing with the sanitized filters. It'll show you which flags are good with that. Email, we could have used on the validate filters, filter flag email Unicode, which just makes sure over here, filter flag email Unicode allows the local part of the email address to contain Unicode characters. So each of those will be set up in that same format. Yeah, let me know if you have any more questions, or I'm sure there are plenty of people in the class that can help or need help, and so it'll help us all if questions are asked. So yeah, thanks so much.